The more artificial the life, the more it craves nature. Jean-Jacques Rousseau. You feel it, don't you? That urge to leave it all behind. The noise. The deadlines. The endless parade of faces you don't know and things you don't care about. You imagine a cabin in the woods. A small farm. Bare feet on warm earth. Life stripped down to its bones. Clean, honest, simple. Sounds beautiful, doesn't it? But here's the question that burns. Why do you want it so badly? Is it freedom you seek, or just an escape from chains you forged yourself? Psychologists whisper a harsh truth. The human mind is terrified of chaos. When the world drowns you in complexity, your soul crawls towards simplicity. But here's the dark twist. Simplicity is not always liberation. Sometimes, it's the most seductive prison ever built. Think about it. What does every tired empire promise its people when rebellion brews? Not more ambition. Not more complexity. It whispers, come, rest. Life can be easy. We will feed you. We will entertain you. Just obey. Rome mastered that art. Bread and circuses. A slogan that crushed revolutions before they began. Give the people their games, their loaves of bread, and watch them trade freedom for comfort. Does that sound familiar? Cheap pleasures. Comfort packaged as freedom. Luxury disguised as simplicity. A life where the hard questions never come. And here's the sinister part. Most people take the deal. They always have. They always will. But then there are the rebels. The ones who run the other way. The ones who abandon wealth for dirt and sweat. One of them was Lev Tolstoy. Tolstoy was everything the world worships. Rich, brilliant, adored. Yet his soul rotted in silk. He saw the empire of his age, industry, aristocracy, progress, and spat it out like poison. He believed salvation lay in simplicity. The plow, the soil, the sweat of honest work. So, he walked away. From estates to huts. From luxury to labor. From nobleman to peasant. But was he free, or just building a prettier cage? Hold that thought. Before we choose sides, let's face the truth together. This hunger for simplicity, this dream of escape, is ancient. It haunted the Roman streets as much as it haunts your Instagram feed. And that should terrify you. Because if the fantasy of a simple life never dies, maybe it's not the world that's broken. Maybe it's us. You're standing now at the crossroads of two worlds. On one side, Tolstoy's fields, pure, quiet, almost holy. On the other, Rome's arenas, loud, bloody, intoxicating. Both promise escape. Both seduce the weary. But they lead to different hells. One hell is gilded with gold and laughter. The other smells of dirt and sacrifice. Which would you choose? Don't answer yet. First, walk with me through Tolstoy's rebellion. Then we'll enter Rome's roaring jaws. And when we are done, I'll ask you the only question that matters. Which illusion do you prefer, the honest lie or the beautiful truth? But before we move on, what do you think so far? Do you believe a simple life can save you? Or is it just another trick? Tell me in the comments. And if this question burned in your mind, stay with Legends Legacy for more battles of ideas that shaped history. Hit that subscribe button, because the war for truth has only begun. There is no greatness where there is no simplicity, goodness, and truth. Leo Tolstoy. You feel the weight of his words, don't you? Tolstoy wasn't just preaching philosophy from an ivory tower. He lived his paradox. A man born into privilege, groomed for grandeur, yet tormented by its emptiness. His early years were marked by excess, literature, estates, and applause from Europe's elite. Yet beneath the champagne of high society, he tasted only dust. His soul withered under the velvet of nobility. The more society adored him, the more he despised himself. Then came the break. Not sudden, not dramatic. A slow-burning disgust with everything civilization called progress. Factories belching smoke. Cities drowning in greed. Aristocrats debating morality over wine while peasants bled into the soil. Tolstoy saw it all and walked away. He stripped off his fine clothes and wore the garb of a peasant. He tilled the earth with his own hands. He renounced meat, renounced wealth, renounced the lies of a world obsessed with power. Why? Because he believed civilization had corrupted the human spirit. Luxury numbs the soul. Ambition poisons it. True life, he said, is found not in conquest but in humility. Everyone thinks of changing the world, but no one thinks of changing himself, Tolstoy confessed. He believed the answer was personal revolution, a return to simplicity so raw it bordered on sacred. But was it liberation, or just another illusion? Critics sneered. They called him a hypocrite, a man of privilege pretending to be poor while servants maintained his estates, a writer profiting from books that preached renunciation, a moral prophet who couldn't live by his own gospel. Perhaps they were right. Perhaps no man can escape the structures of his birth. Or perhaps they missed the point. Tolstoy wasn't promising perfection. He was warning of decay. He saw the machinery of modern life grinding human beings into hollow shells. He saw a world that mistook comfort for meaning. He wanted to burn that illusion to the ground. You may think him naive, but ask yourself, what would it take for you to leave everything? The house, the job, the screens, the endless scroll of desire. Could you? Tolstoy tried. And maybe that's all that matters. Not that he succeeded, but that he refused to worship the idols of his age. Yet even in his fields of quiet rebellion, a shadow loomed. Because simplicity, once institutionalized, becomes ideology. And ideology, no matter how pure, can become another form of tyranny. That's where Rome enters. For if Tolstoy's dream was to shed the chains of civilization, Rome perfected the art of forging invisible ones. Chains made of pleasure. Chains so soft you forget you're bound. But before we step into the Roman arena, ask yourself this. Would Tolstoy's vision have survived in a world like Rome? Or would he, like so many dreamers, have been crushed beneath the roar of the crowd and the promise of easy bread? Tell me in the comments, would you have walked beside Tolstoy into the dirt and the sweat? Or stayed in the palace, where the wine flows and the music never stops? And the question only deepens from here. Because Rome waits, and Rome never sleeps. They pass their whole lives in the theaters and the circus. Juvenal. The roar of the crowd shakes the marble walls. Drums pound like 1,000 war horses. Blood glistens on sand beneath a burning Roman sun. This is not leisure. This is control. Rome understood a dark truth. People don't want freedom. They want distraction. They want comfort. They want something to dull the ache of existence. And Rome gave it to them. Bread and circuses. A phrase so simple, so brilliant, so lethal. Feed their stomachs. Feed their eyes. But never feed their minds. The formula kept an empire of millions pacified. Cheap grain for the poor. Spectacles of violence and glory. Gladiators, chariot races, theatrical dramas, all designed to drown rebellion in noise. Because a hungry mind questions, but a satisfied body sleeps. Look closer. This wasn't charity. It was strategy, a masterstroke of psychological warfare. Seneca warned, it is the part of a weak mind to be excited by noise and novelty. But Rome didn't fear weak minds, it cultivated them. The arenas became cathedrals. The games became scripture. And the people prayed with their cheers, believing they were free while shackled by bread and spectacle. Sound familiar? Look around you. Screens that glow. Feeds that scroll. Pleasures so constant they numb you to the question, what am I living for? Rome would smile. It would recognize the strategy. Distraction over dialogue. Consumption over contemplation. Entertainment over enlightenment. But beneath the laughter of the masses, a darker truth festered, emptiness. The games were thrilling, but life outside the Colosseum was hollow. Luxury was abundant, yet purpose was scarce. And here lies the cruel paradox. The more Rome fed its people, the more hollow they became. The more spectacles dazzled their eyes, the darker their inner world grew. It's easy to point fingers at emperors and politicians. But Juvenal, the satirist who coined Panem et Circenses, knew better. He wasn't mocking Rome's rulers. He was mocking the people, because they traded greatness for comfort, meaning for pleasure, freedom for distraction. And now, look inward. Would you have resisted the temptation? Or would you have sat high in the stands, wine in hand, watching lions tear men apart, while believing yourself the civilized one? Here lies the collision with Tolstoy. He rejected distraction. He rejected luxury. He believed salvation required suffering, work, humility. Rome believed salvation required only obedience and entertainment. Both paths promise peace, but only one demands the courage to live without illusions. So, which calls to you louder, the plough or the Colosseum? The quiet toil of a soul seeking truth, or the deafening cheers of a crowd afraid to think? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this isn't just Rome's story. It's ours, and legend's legacy exists for these confrontations, where history whispers and we decide whether to listen. But the debate sharpens now, because the question is no longer about Tolstoy or Rome. It's about you. And now step into the darkest chamber of all, the human mind. The place where escape becomes a trap, and comfort becomes chains. Most men are slaves. For one is a slave to lust, another to greed, another to ambition, all are slaves to fear. Seneca. Look deeper, beyond Tolstoy's fields, beyond Rome's arenas. You stand before the mirror, and what stares back is uncomfortable. The longing for a simple life is not just about peace. It is about escape. Escape from anxiety, from uncertainty, from the suffocating weight of choice. But here's the danger. Escape is not freedom. Escape is surrender. Tolstoy's simplicity offered purpose, ploughing, laboring, suffering toward meaning. Rome's simplicity offered sedation, bread, games, and a life without questions. Both feel like liberation, but one sharpens the soul, the other softens it into dust. Yet the deeper question cuts sharper. When you seek a simpler life, do you dream of freedom, or do you dream of safety? Psychologists call this the comfort paradox. The more comfortable life becomes, the more anxious we grow, because comfort is not meaning, it's anesthesia. And rulers, then and now, know this well. They know the human mind craves rest from the storm of thought. They know distraction is cheaper than revolution. They know that citizens who dream of ease are citizens who forget to dream of greatness. This is not ancient history. This is modern design. Luxury lifestyles. Passive entertainment. The slow trade of courage for convenience. You are told to work hard, save, retire, and rest. But no one asks, rest for what? Retire to where? What is the point of a life spent only chasing the absence of pain? Tolstoy warned of this trap. He feared the false simplicity of a society that feeds your body but starves your soul. He saw the danger in wealth, not because it corrupts, but because it lulls you into believing you are alive when you are merely entertained. Rome knew this, too, but chose not to warn. Rome chose to weaponize it. Here is the hardest truth. Most of us would have cheered in the Colosseum. Most of us would have eaten the bread and closed our eyes. Because it is easier to be a comfortable slave than a restless seeker of truth. But you, right now, are being asked to choose. Not between Tolstoy and Rome, but between the hard road of self-confrontation and the soft prison of distraction. So, ask yourself, would you risk suffering for meaning? Would you abandon comfort for the unknown? Would you dare live a life not designed by rulers, markets, or algorithms, but by your own hands? History does not care what you answer, but your soul does. In the final reckoning, two voices will call to you. Tolstoy, whispering of sweat and sacrifice. Rome, roaring of pleasure and ease. Which will you follow? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Would you choose labor that awakens, or leisure that blinds? Share your take. Debate. Challenge. Because Legend Legacy isn't just a channel. It's the fire where ideas clash and souls sharpen. Subscribe. Stay for the final act. Because the last question will be the hardest. The greatest danger in life is not that we aim too high and miss, but that we aim too low and hit. Michelangelo. The journey ends where it began, with a question that unsettles the soul. You have walked through Tolstoy's fields, where sweat and sacrifice promise redemption. You have sat in Rome's arenas, where blood and spectacle promise peace. Both worlds glitter with the allure of a simple life. Yet one demands courage. The other demands only obedience. Now, the reckoning. Tolstoy believed salvation required stripping life down to its essence. No illusions, no false comforts, just work, humility, and truth. A hard life, yes, but a life awake. Rome believed the opposite. Feed the body, feed the senses. Keep the mind docile, keep rebellion asleep. A soft life, yet hollow. But here is the cruel irony. Most who dream of simplicity secretly crave Rome, not Tolstoy. They dream of less stress, not more meaning. They dream of comfort, not courage. So, which life would you choose? The quiet grind of Tolstoy's plough, or the deafening cheer of Rome's games? Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "It is not death that a man should fear, but never beginning to live." Living, truly living, requires risk. It requires discomfort. It requires stepping beyond the safety of distractions and into the rawness of reality. But Seneca warned of the opposite temptation. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. And wasted life often hides behind entertainment, luxury, or the illusion of simplicity. Now, the final question burns. Which voice will guide you? Tolstoy's call to labor and self-confrontation? Or Rome's whisper to relax, consume, and forget? Pause here. Answer not with your lips but your life. Because this is not history. This is prophecy. The empires of distraction have returned. Only now they glow in your hands, stream in your rooms, and promise you the very dream Rome sold 2,000 years ago. Do you see the trap now? Leave your thoughts below. Which ideology strikes you harder? Which warning feels truer to your own life? I want to hear your reckoning. This has been Legend Legacy, where history bleeds into philosophy and challenges the core of who you are. If this journey stirred something in you, subscribe. Share this with someone who dreams of escape, so they may see the trap before stepping inside. And now, two voices, two truths, two worlds. Tolstoy whispers, happiness consists of living each day as if it were the first day of your honeymoon and the last day of your vacation. Marcus Aurelius answers, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. Which one will you follow?